The Maze Runner is directed by Westworld. The story is about the boy named Thomas who wakes up in the place called Glade with no memories. The Glade is surrounded by a big, dangerous maze that changes every day. A group of boys called a Glades are trapped there and try to survive while looking for a way out. Later, they find out they are part of an experiment by a group called Wicked. Outside the maze, the world has been destroyed by a deadly virus called the Flames. Wicked is studying them to find a cure. Thomas questions the rules, takes risks, and becomes leader will bring hope to the group. Let me introduce the main characters. Thomas is the brave newcomer who will change everything. Albie is the first leader who wants to keep order. Nils is the calm and keep the peace. Minho is the skill runner who explore the maze. Gally fears change and wants to follow the old rules. And lastly, Teresa is the first girl who bring important secret and cause change. Each character plays a special role in the story and show different side of how group behave and lead. In The Maze Runner, the story shows us three important ideas about how group works, which is group behavior, leadership, and social influence. Let's look at each one. First, the Glider organizes the community by giving everyone a role, like runner who explore the maze, builder who construct shelter, and cook who prepare the food. This helps them survive and avoid problems, just like how people work together during real emergencies such as natural disaster where community divide tasks to provide rescue, food, medical care efficiently. For leadership, LB keep things safe with a strict rules, but Thomas challenged this rule and inspired the group to believe in new ideas. This shows us that the leadership can be given or can come from anyone who acts concretely. In real life, leaders are not always the one with official titles, but sometimes a person stepping up in the difficult time, like a teacher guiding students during a crisis become a true leader. Finally, we see social influence. At work, the boy follow the group rules to fit in, but when Thomas showed new ways, others start to listen and follow him. Even though he began alone, his confidence have changed the whole group mindsets. This is similar to how social movement or innovation often start with one person or a small group who challenge norms and gradually influence wide society.
Hello, Doctor. Now I'm talking about how social identity theory (SIT) developed by Henry Trevitt and John Turner applies to the movie The Maze Runner. Tashver, other Holocaust survivor, was motivated to understand how ordinary people could be part of discrimination or violence. This led to the development of SIT. The theory explained that a person's identity is shaped largely by the group they belong to, whether that's nationality, religion, or even a team or school. People naturally categorize themselves and another into in-groups and out-groups. They tend to favor their own groups. That's called in-group favoritism, and often hold negative view towards another or out-groups. According to SIT, people want to feel special or unique within their groups, and this creates strong group loyalty. In times of conflict or threats, this can lead to group cohesion and even intergroup conflict.
In The Maze Runner, this theory is reflected in how the Gliders, a group of boys trapped in the maze from their own society. They assign roles like runners, builders, and leaders and create rules to live by. Their group identity is formed through shared experience and a common goal to survive and escape. Wickers, the organization behind the maze, become the out-groups. It traded the greater freedoms and survival. Because of that, the greater grew even more loyal to one another. AB, one of the leaders, emphasized teamwork and discipline to maintain unity. Thomas, the protagonist, starts out as an outsider, a greenie, but gradually become part of the group, then rise as a leader by challenging the old norms. The transformation shows how social identity is not fixed, it evolves when people feel that group is being triggered or need change.
Well, another psychological theory applied in a small ways. For example, Gaelic showed attribution theory by blaming Thomas' action on personality, and Thomas experienced internal conflict explained by cognitive dissonance. Only social identity theory explains the group behavior of the creators. It shows how the group forms when they stick together and how conflict will and out-group strangers their identity. It also explains Thomas' rise to leadership and the collective resistance against Wicked. In conclusion, SIT is the most complete and relevant framework to understand the group dynamics, role formation, and psychological survival shown in The Maze Runner. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nurul Hidayah binti Zulkifli. My metric number is 298528. Today, I want to talk about what I learned from The Maze Runner and how it connects to social psychology, especially group behavior. In the movie, the characters are stuck in the glade that is a place with its own rule and role. I realized how important the group norm and teamwork are for survival. For example, Thomas started as an outsider, but by learning the rule and proving his courage, he gained the group trust and become a leader. This reminds me of the concept of social self, how our identity forms through interaction with others. In real life, I saw something similar when I joined a group assignment with random people. At first, I was not sure where I fit in, but by helping the group to solve problems as a leader, I earned their trust and respect just like Thomas. This shows how teamwork and shared goals build trust and boost self-esteem. I also learned about the group norm. In the glade, breaking rule was risky, but Thomas challenged them to help everyone escape. It taught me that sometimes questioning the norm can lead to growth, even in real life. The Maze Runner helped me see how social psychology applies to everyday experience, from building relationship to understand group behavior. That's all for me. Thank you.
From watching The Maze Runner, I learned a lot about ethical reflection and social responsibility, especially how group pressure can affect the decision making. In the film, Thomas chose to break the rules to save others. That reminded me of a real situation I faced during group work in class. One group member was being unfairly blamed for a mistake, but most of us stayed silent, not wanting to get involved. But later, I spoke out to explain the truth even though it felt uncomfortable. The experience taught me what social psychology calls bystander empathy and diffusion of responsibility, where people will stay silent because they expect others to act. The movie also shows how fear and stress can lead to aggression and groupthink, like when Gally resists change just to protect the old system. This happens in real life too, especially in schools or workplaces where people follow rules blindly without questioning them. Through this film and my own experience, I realized that real social responsibility means speaking up, even when it's hard, and that moral courage often begins with one person.
Assalamualaikum Doctor, my name is Nurul Atira, and for my part I will be explain about how The Maze Runner is more than just a dystopian action movie. It actually shows us how people behave in controlled environments and how society shapes our thoughts and actions. In the movie, the glade is a man-made world where a group of boys live under strict rules. Even though they don't know who put them there or why, they still follow the rules without question. This shows how people can quickly accept a system just to feel safe and fit in. This is known as normative social influence, where we follow group norms to avoid being rejected. One of the characters, Gally, strongly believes in keeping things the way they are. He is afraid of change and sees Thomas as a threat just because Thomas asks questions. This reflects real-life situations where people obey rules simply because they are used to them, even if the rules are unfair. This is similar to Milgram's obedience experiment, where people are willing to harm others just because they were told to by an authority figure. In the Maze Runner, there isn't one clear leader, but the system itself becomes the authority that everyone follows. The organization Wicked, which created the maze, represents powerful institutions in real life, like governments or media. They control people by convincing them it's for the greater good. The phrase "Wicked is good" shows how language and repetition can make people believe in something wrong. This connects to moral disengagement, where people convince themselves that their harmful actions are actually helping others. The film also shows the idea of constructed reality, where people accept the world around them as the normal because that's all they have ever known. The Claytons never question their environment because they have been socialized to believe it's just the way things are. Thomas and later Teresa represent people who start to question the system. They show how important it is to think critically and challenge unfair rules, even when it's difficult. Their actions reflect minority influence, where one or two people can slowly change the minds of the group by being consistent and brave. In conclusion, The Maze Runner is a powerful reminder of how easy it is to accept unfair systems and how important it is to ask questions and speak up. Real change starts when someone dares to challenge what everyone else blindly accepts. So through learning about group behavior, The Maze Runner helped me understand how leaders naturally emerge in group situations. In the Glade, characters like LB and Newt become leaders not because they were chosen by an outside authority, but because the group needed someone to create order. This connects to social role theory where people take on roles based on group needs and expectations. For example, during group assignments, there are often no official leader assigned, but one person tends to take the initiative. They might start by dividing tasks, setting deadlines, or making sure everyone is on the same page. This usually happens not because they are told to, but because the group needs direction or structure, especially when things start to feel disorganized or stressful. That person steps into the role of a leader because the situation calls for it, and the rest of the group often accept it without questions.